In this tutorial, we're going to jump right into the Gluware user interface and highlight many of the usability and security features introduced in the 4.1 release. If you're taking the test drive, some of the other videos have not been updated to the latest version. So it's good to start here and understand the changes that you're going to see in the application. Let's get started. Okay, here we are in the Gluware instance. Let's get signed in and jump through the new features So as we get signed in here, one of the first features we want to highlight here is the new left side nav. So instead of having the app switcher in the upper left corner, you're going to have the left-driven nav menu on the side here that expands out as you float over it. So if I want to go into my device manager, I can go directly into my device manager. And if I want to go into drift and audit, I can highlight it. If I want to go right into audit policies, I can use a sub navigation and drill directly into that. So one of the benefits you're going to like right away is just the streamlined usability of changing between apps, as well as navigating directly into the segment of the app that you want to get into. Also to highlight is that the order is drag and droppable. So let's say I use config modeling the most, I can drag that up to the very top. Or if I want dashboards on the top, I can drag that. So you can drag and drop here. Also, there is a more full expansion here with the arrow key. And if there are things you rarely use, let's say for some reason you rarely use OS Manager, you can drag it down into the expansion of more and so on and so forth. So that's the main aspect of the left nav menu. So all of your apps are here, as well as your settings. Settings are accessed through here, and you navigate into there, and help. With that, on the right-hand side, you do still have your user menu if you click in, and if you can edit your own profile here. It will take you to your profile to edit. That has not changed. You can edit your preferences. So this is new in terms of changing between a light and a dark theme. Show unlicensed solutions to show them or to hide them. So if for some reason, let's say you didn't license OS Manager in your build or instance, you could hide that solution there since it is not usable. And then solution names, if I move this to hide, what you're going to see is the menu just stays collapsed, and then you're essentially relying on your memory or the recognition of the icons that you become familiar with here, like the new Data Explorer. So with that, that pretty much wraps up the left side nav. Let's navigate into config modeling, and for me, I do like my solution names shown. So I'm going to go to config modeling, and we're going to navigate just into the app here. So you're going to notice a bit of refinement as you notice the config modeling app. One in that the font has been updated. It is streamlined and unified throughout the Gluware app and all solutions, as well as the new solutions browser. Right now, everything is bundled into all solutions, but if solutions were created in Gluware Lab and there was a subset of things you wanted a user or an instance to see in config modeling, you could define it as a solution and then navigate only that solution, or filter essentially Gluware to just that solution. Also, as you expand this tree here, instead of your kind of node feature global, the main color blocks or icons across the top, you now have the ability to just drill down and then to get directly into the subset that you want to get to. So this does also improve or reduce clicks and improve navigation experience by going into kind of the sub-filtered areas. If I was looking at just trying to navigate into a DNS feature, I could do that. And so just really kind of streamlined. You still have your search and your filter that would apply as well. So let me delete that out. One other minor thing you're going to notice is just the icons. You still have your bottom space where you can expose your terminal window, your node instance map, the regex editor, and the workflow browser. And then the right has not changed as well, other than the icons where you get your details, your instance, when you're provisioning nodes, and the provisioning logs. All of that is still there. So not too much changed, but a bit of streamlining from the top level navigation. So let's navigate back into Device Manager. And we're going to highlight something you notice right away because the color jumps out is this new access status column. And in the access status, we're highlighting what is the status of these devices. So if I click in on this 3650 switch, not only do I see it in the grid, but I can see that the access status is okay. If I take a look at this Juniper virtual device here, if I click into it, it looks like that is an unreachable type of, so when Gluware tried to access the device, it was unreachable. I can get into the logs and see I had no connection to that IP that was given to me. So that virtual device is likely not there anymore. And when I have an orange, if I click in here and I look at my device status, I can see that this device is undiscoverable. So I was not able to discover this device, even though it's potentially IP reachable. So that's a nice, the access status is really kind of giving you that high level view if connectivity to that device is good when you're then going to perform an action in Gluware like a discovery or like a drift or an audit. So this is across all the apps, including if we navigate back into config modeling and we go to the nodes view. Config modeling has a slightly different grid, but if we scroll, I believe I've added it in here, the access status, we don't have the visual, but we do have the status here that's displayed. So you do have access status available in all apps, including config modeling. So let's jump into the last feature to highlight in this quick intro video. If we go to our global settings and actually to get to this first feature I want to highlight, you're going to have to navigate into your primary system org. So the features for SAML and OAuth single sign-on, you navigate into your primary system org. So in this case, it's the Gluware system organization. It's been the default name. And there's a new option when you go in there, which is called single sign-on. If you go into single sign-on, you have new options for turning on SAML or OAuth, which is also PKCE. If you turn on one of these options, you're going to see the form that you would be familiar with if you understand these protocols to turn on that form of authentication. And this is really just hardening the access into Gluware with additional security options of turning on SAML or the OAuth protocol for authentication. So that will improve ways in which, or make it more difficult for users to sign in, therefore hardening the security of accessing the Gluware system. The last one I'll touch on here is if I'm in settings and I'm in my user settings, if I for an individual user, if I enable two-factor authentication, we've updated our two-factor to leverage a third-party authenticator. In this case, we're using the Google Authenticator. So once you enable this, you're going to get a barcode that you have to go and use in Google, and then from Google you'll get a PIN that when you sign into Gluware, you will be asked for your PIN, and then you will authenticate into the system. So this will, push that or enforce that two-factor authentication in a pretty standard mechanism. So with that concludes the live demo. Once again, thank you for your time and interest in Gluware. For more about features in the Gluware 4.1 release, check out our YouTube channel and the playlist on 4.1 features. For more information just generally on Gluware, visit gluware.com and reach out to us at sales@gluware.com or click on the request to start a free trial. Thank you.